The Lil Durk situation to me is we already talked about it on the show, the Viral Way podcast. So if you guys, do want to go see it in detail a little bit more as a group conversation, definitely head over there and check it out. But for me, the Lil Durk situation is, Jay Wan from Joe Budden podcast said he read a book, and there was a line in the book that said that, suicidal thoughts turn into homicidal impulses. And that was like, whoa, for me, because that's something that I kind of always preach. Not those exact words, but the lack of love that we receive in the Black community as kids, the fast growing up that we have to do, the environments, all these things, and not having those outlets to express your emotions and feelings, and then going to your parents and they're saying you ain't depressed, you just a bitch, or you just soft, or you don't have anxiety, you just a bitch, you just soft, or whatever the case is, PTSD, whatever it is. When you go to these people that have raised you and birthed you, and you try to get love and care from them, and they don't necessarily give it back the way you need because they never had it, and then you get into this fucked up environment around people, you become so angry and have so much pent up aggression that it does turn into homicidal impulses for a lot of these people. A lot of these kids, if they had more love, they would do better, But at the same time, a lot of these kids wouldn't do shit anyway. A lot of these kids had homes with love and decided to fuck off anyway. I don't know Lil Durk's story all the way, but I think at the age he's at, 32, you still trying to go get your get back. Getting your get back don't get you shit but dead or in jail, as you see. You killed the wrong nigga, and now you about to sit in jail, possibly. And the rest of the niggas that you was with. And you didn't even get the right dude. So it's like, at what point does it end? At what point do y'all be like, you know what, we on some other shit? Now, I understand the nuances of just because we have money, it don't mean that real world problems that we went through are going to go away, right? Because I don't give a fuck how much money I got. If it's somebody that I can never forgive, then I could just never forgive. But I think we have to leave it at never forgiving and not crashing out or not acting, and seeking revenge on each other. I think those days should be over because all you're doing is taking a father away from his kids, a father away from his wife or his girl, a father away from his mother and father, his cousins, his nieces, his nephews. Who knows how many people he supported? How many people rely on him? So you taking him away because he took somebody away. And now that you took him away, you're gonna go away. So the cycle just rinses and repeats. It's somebody who could have success, fame, and notoriety. They give it up to avenge somebody, and that ends up giving them up. So that generational wealth that we quote unquote are supposed to have, that all these rappers quote unquote are gonna have, and how we try to talk about rap being this, hip hop being this thing that's made millionaires and stuff. A lot of these motherfuckers aren't gonna have it around because if you locked up for 60 or for the rest of your life, and you got people outside that don't know how to manage money, you got accountants that siphon off of you, other business people that you got to pay, maybe that's chipping in and taking things where you're not looking. How long you think that money gonna last? You have no business ideas or ventures. How long you think the money gonna last? So you're putting your family at a very big risk by getting taken out the game, by just acting out of emotion. It's no other excuse at this point. Like, we can go and sit around and talk about the generational trauma, and again how black kids don't get love, and or whatever they go through, and there's a tough environment. But at some point, we have to look at one another and say, "Hey, I look just like you. We could do so much better together than we could do apart or fighting each other." And what sucks about Lil Durk to me is all of that shit he was doing leading up to the arrest was bullshit. That's the most fucked up part to me about the situation. You became Muslim, you converted to Islam, you had the concert, you put your ops up there, you said you forgave him, you was making music videos with J. Cole and kids, you was doing all of these things just to come out and hear that you had plotted or murder for hire. So while you was sitting here preaching about forgiveness and Allah and a better future for kids and a better message to kids, you were behind closed doors doing the exact opposite. So you were a hypocrite in the worst way. That's the most fucked up part for me because you gave probably thousands of kids hope just to turn around and be a false idol. That's why you have to be careful who you pick as your heroes and who you choose as your idols, because a lot of these niggas really are not worth looking up to. But we can't see that because, again, the chains, the cars, and the clothes, and the hoes. We can't see that. The rap music, he's tough, he's hard. No, he's not. I mean, maybe he is, but it's not going to end well for him. It ain't going to end well for him. It's not ending well for him right now. And then you do all that for what? For niggas to try to fuck your girl when you're gone, to double cross you, to tell on you for a cheeseburger and a Diet Coke. Like, what are you really doing? What are we really upholding? What is it at this point? You have millions of dollars. Why does a group name matter so much? And geographical aspects of your city. Why does it matter so much? That's all it really is, bro. It's lines and borders and names and groups. Once you're making millions of dollars, I'm sorry, there's just no more excuse for it. There's no more excuse for it. Oh, well, he has trauma. Well, oh, he wanted to avenge his brother. Well, I don't care about none of that. The police not gonna care about none of that. Your baby mama not gonna care about none of that. Kids not gonna care about none of that when they can't eat. Nobody's gonna care about any of that shit that you're talking about as to why you did what you did. Nobody gives a fuck. That's why you did what you did. You did it. Now there's consequences. You see, me, I'm not a street nigga. I've never been in the field. But I speak from the people that are often overlooked, which is the brothers, the sisters, the mothers, the fathers, the kids, right? Who get that call at night. Somebody was arrested. Who got to go to them on them jail visits, or maybe they don't get to go. That now has to grow up without a father, or has to grow up with a father that's in and out, or a father that gets out and now is institutionalized and has to understand his environment more. I'm speaking for the people who are overlooked. We always look at the person in jail. Oh man, they going through it. Man, he's in the hole. Man, he's getting stabbed. Man, he's doing all this. I don't even know why we pay attention to that. Because yes, while it's tough, and I understand it's unimaginable for people who have never went in there, you put yourself in there. Nobody else put you in there. It's like when a nigga say, I fought for the country. Like, I'm proud of you, yes, but we didn't force you to do that. You did that on your own. So what do you want to clap on the shoulder? What do you want? You know what I'm saying? So why should we feel bad for you because you did something that you knew would ultimately end you up in jail? Fuck you. You're selfish. Because you didn't think about, and like most of the motherfuckers who are in the street life, who do street shit, they never think about the families and the friends and the whole support system that now is going to be affected when they do what they do. They didn't give a fuck when they was there, and now they want to try to give a fuck now when they're out of position to do so, when it's too late. You see this shit all the time. So to me, it's just bullshit. It's selfish. All you did is negatively affect your kid's life for the next 10, 15, 20 years, however long. Now little bro or little sis got to grow up without a dad. Now they got to have certain imbalances, right? And see certain imbalances that ultimately get into the subconscious and dictate to a certain degree how you are raised and how you are as a person, unless you can break that. So I don't have no sympathy for the niggas that go to jail because they knew what they was doing. It's hell in there. I'm not saying it's not hell in there, but if you just take away all the nuance and all that bullshit, you did it to yourself. The people who's really suffering is your mom who got to go put money on books or got to go and do the same routine every couple years because you can't get it together. People I'm speaking for, because I didn't have that. I didn't been there. You get what I'm saying? I didn't have a pops all the time because of certain things my pops did and acted in. So I understand how that tears families apart. You get what I'm saying? I understand how it tears family apart. It ain't cool. A lot of families are never put back together after that because a lot of men, we all know jail is a revolving door. Prison is a revolving door. A lot of men who go in and get out, go right the fuck back in. I believe it's like 60 to 70% are going to reoffend within the first 5 years. So you make that one mistake and you may pay for it with the rest of your life and the rest of your kid's life. A lot of times sins of the father go to the son. Look at Lil Durk's dad. Dad was locked up for 40 years. Imagine if Lil Durk's dad decides to pick a different route. Get out the street shit. Go get a regular job that's lame and lousy and work for a living. Take care of his kids that way. Provide for them that way. Maybe put them in sports. Who knows what the trajectory is? But sins of the father ultimately fall on the son. Bro did 40. Now your son is about to do life possibly. So accountability has to be had. There is no more, well, I went through this as a kid. This was my environment, all of this shit, because there's multiple examples of people live right next door to you that don't do any of that. So it's the examples are gone. The examples are done for. You guys are choosing to do this, and you guys have millions of dollars. So y'all are choosing to do these things. So there's no sympathy for you, in my opinion. Um, do I wish he, I hope he found not guilty? Yeah, I hope so, because I don't wish jail on nobody. I don't want nobody going there, because I've heard stories of what going in there. I never been myself, but I heard stories of what going on in there. It ain't pleasant. So I 100% hope he gets free. But if he doesn't, oh well, you did it to yourself. I don't give a fuck. I ain't gonna lose no sleep over it. I suggest nobody else to. It's like, what are we talking about? Why are we feeling bad for people who do things knowing what the results are, and then tried to trick the youth the whole entire time as some good person for the last 5 to 6 months? That's bullshit to me. Be a villain, bro. Stop. Y'all niggas gotta stop doing that too, because these kids can't tell the difference. And that's another problem that I have with people like Lil Durk. It's like, bro, are you a villain or are you a hero? Like, which nigga are you? Like, y'all rappers and some of you black entertainers, y'all don't know if y'all want to be a revolutionary leader or a street nigga. And that's what I keep saying. Like, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It doesn't work. You either have to be fully in submittance to Allah and that righteous path, or you're not. There is no, okay, on my 9 to 5, I'm gonna do good, but then from 5 to 9, I'm gonna do dirt. That dirt gonna catch up and meet you at the front door of your 9 to 5. It always do. It always do. It's like y'all don't want to let the street shit go so bad. Like, y'all have to hold on to the image and the vibes and the environment. It's like y'all just can't let it go. You 40 years old, living in a big ass house, doing whatever, and you still can't let it go. You have a problem. That's a problem. You don't want to grow up. You niggas gotta let that shit go. It's over with. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. And like I said, the people I feel the worst for is Durk's kids and whoever else was you know what I mean, looking for his assistance in life and who needed it. Like, that's fucked up. It's fucked up. But that's why I hate that, because I'm gonna go back to that. When it comes to the kids and then they see that, it's like, so what do? Do they go do the street shit, or they go do the good shit? You was never good to begin with, and the good doesn't get the notoriety because y'all don't want it to. So y'all, this is what I'm saying. Y'all putting these images in these kids' head. You was just getting with little kids talking about all my life, and now you're going to jail for murder for hire. Now, when we talk about, and this is something else we could switch to, about how the older generation has to take accountability, because you've seen it play out right now, right? Like Durk went and fooled a bunch of niggas. So what if they were to go and follow his same footsteps? He would have to be accountable for that. It's just like his father has to be accountable for going in jail and ultimately showing Durk that way of life. You got to take that accountability. Old heads got to take that accountability. We sit up here and we talk about this generation, and Gen Z is full of crash outs and they don't give a fuck and they want to post and do everything and blah, 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 all this stuff. In my opinion, that's true. But the older generation, why they have to have accountability is because they sat around them same young niggas, and not all old niggas, but the older niggas who were bummy enough to still be kicking around little homies, they sat around them niggas and they put batteries in their back. They gassed their heads up with false promises. They got them to do missions for them. There's niggas, a lot of niggas like that. Also, a lot of rappers in the hip hop community, we're just now finding out was not rapping or was not living what they were rapping about. When we were kids, we were under the pretense that everything was real. This only became a fake thing in 2010s. So y'all are pretty much telling kids that are crashing out now that they thought their whole life, you better do that shit. You better be for real. Don't be faking. If you a fake nigga, that's a bitch. You a mark. You saying you're doing it, but you're not really doing that. That's lame. That's Buster shit. We all know that, and that's what we all have been taught, whether you're a civilian or not. We all have heard those things. Like, what? That nigga said he was doing this, but he's not. So the urgency to live what you're actually rapping it does come from the older generation. Now, maybe they wasn't putting it out there in droves like we are, but we still knew about it. And if social media was back then, a lot of the niggas that was getting caught back then, we would have seen. It's just no social media. So I don't like when people are like, oh, it's just, this newer generation is just crazy. And where did they get it from? Y'all were the same people that was making it seem like this was the route to take. Y'all were the same people going and poisoning the communities. Y'all was the same people selling yourself out. Y'all was the same generation, the same people. So when it gets to this point, then don't just be mad at the newer generation. Y'all need to look within. Damn, how did we get here? Because we for sure got a part to play. Y'all think that these motherfuckers wanted hip hop to last this long? 50 years or 100 years? Y'all think they wanted that? I don't think so. Each generation it gets stepped up a notch. Right now, we might be meeting the demise of hip hop. Because the way it's going, Gen Z ain't gonna have no goats. It ain't gonna have no rappers left over. Because everybody gonna end up dead or in jail. And that's dead from getting gunshots or drug overdose or something like that. And jail is going to jail for the rest of their life. They're trying to get everybody up out of here. But the older generation has to take some accountability in where we are today because they led us to that. Not reading that paperwork, not doing smart business deals. All those things too, like, have gotten us where we are now, where artists don't even want to care about music and they only want to care about endorsements and touring because the way the system is made and what we've received and what we've accepted has become the status quo. We've accepted the bad 360 deals. We accepted, you know what I mean? Again, not reading the fine lining. That's why we are where we are right now with the music industry and deals and getting ripped off. Obviously, they have part to play, but we accepted it. The same way we accepted the degeneracy, the push of degeneracy, the push of sexuality and violence. We accepted it. We rocked with it. We made it us. So when y'all was doing that in the 90s and the 2000s and it hit the 2010s and y'all see Chief Keef, it's like when you see Tupac hanging out the window, spitting and flipping niggas off or Thug Life on his shirt, smoke out with a do-rag on, like what? Or getting shot and rolling out the same day I know who shot me, or Cameron on the news after getting shot. What do y'all think? Where did y'all not understand that eventually what it was going to morph into and transform into? That's where you transform into Chief Keef and the Lil Durk and the rest of them. That's what it transforms into. So everybody has some responsibility in this shit. Point blank. That's how I feel about it. But with that being said, if you guys are watching this, man, make sure you like, subscribe, run me up, get me in the algorithm. It's Kali the One. Also, if you're headed over to the Byway podcast, go ahead, like, subscribe, run us up, get us in the algorithm as well over there. Keep the movement moving. Without further ado, man, yep, it's Kali the One. I don't know where y'all are going, but you got to get the hell up out of here.